Okay, here we go, friends. I have turned on the mic. I am coming over here to get situated. I have turned on my camera, rather. The microphone is here. Going to get my chair situated here a little bit. And I'm going to put in my earbuds just in case today. And I am going to say to you, hey there, welcome back. Today we are completely unedited, imperfect, vulnerable, and human here together. This is, I guess, the second installment in my Tea and Heartfelt chat series that I have wanted to start, and because it is very, very hot, we are having a heat wave where I live right now, instead of, oh, that's a nice sound, instead of hot tea, I brought iced tea with me, and my ice cubes are already almost melted, but this still makes a nice little sound, This is my peach glass. I have a set of 4 of these glasses that belong to my grandmother that have different fruits on them. And so I'm using the peach one today. And I am drinking mint tea. But it's not just any mint tea. It is chocolate mint tea. Chocolate mint. Have you ever heard of chocolate mint? It's not mint tea with chocolate added. Chocolate mint is an actual variety of mint. And I have some chocolate mint growing in a pot on my porch. And it is delicious because it has that minty flavor, obviously. And then it somehow has this essence, just a little bit of an essence of a chocolatey flavor with the mint. So it is very yummy. And I like to make it as a warm tea, as a hot tea. And today I thought I would try it as an iced tea, and it is quite lovely. Yummy. So I'm going to put that down. I have a piece of foam here, just because I'm showing you all my behind the scenes today. This is a piece of foam that I tap on as a trigger sometimes. And I am putting it down as a coaster so that my glass does not make a loud sound when I put it down on my desk. But that is such a nice sound. I think I'm actually going to pick it back up as I start to talk until I get tired of holding it. So today's topic is kind of a spontaneous one, and I wanted to talk a little bit about perfectionism, vulnerability, and being human, and the beauty of the imperfection of being a human being. And I do have a list of other topics that you all suggested for these chat videos, which I am going to work through the course of the summer and into the fall. So thank you for those. I have not forgotten your suggestions, and I'm very thankful for them. And today I just felt that this was the next thing I wanted to talk about. That today this is what was on my heart. For a few reasons. First of all, I have just missed you all. I have missed you. I had a very busy week this week. 2 days of the week I babysat my little niece, who is almost 4 and is so much fun and such an amazing human being in so many ways. I learn so much from her every time we hang out, from her observations of the world, from her amazing, amazing, amazing imagination. We have so much fun pretending together. And so that was a wonderful use of my time this week, hanging out with her. And then Justin and I also had two really good friends come to stay with us for a few days. And they have an almost 1-year-old child. So we had a full house of people of all ages throughout this past week. It was really, really wonderful and joyful and very, very full of beautiful energy. So I didn't end up recording any videos last week, which is fine. For the summer, I do want to give myself a more flexible schedule. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some experiences I had with our friends that were staying with us, which is part of this kind of theme which inspired this video. But first and foremost, I just really wanted to sit down and talk with you. And whenever I haven't recorded in a while, it's usually then that I just want to sit down and be cozy with you and not have a particular theme or a role play or anything like that. I mean, I have a theme today, I guess, but I just wanted to sit down with you and just, be myself, even more so than usual, fully casual Devin, and talk with you. And then the other thing that inspired it was that I saw a video from JoJo ASMR, who I'm sure many of you know, a longtime legend in the ASR community. And JoJo was talking about, I'll link to this video, it's not a very long video, it wasn't an ASMR video per se, it was just him musing about things and sharing some thoughts about AI and how AI may be affecting the arts in general, obviously, but specifically the world of ASMR. And I hadn't really seen a lot of these videos as of yet, but apparently there are a lot more videos coming out now, ASMR videos that are AI generated with AI sort of hosts, that the person or the entity giving you the ASMR and being the central person in the video being AI and not being an actual person. And some of these videos are quite advanced and really look like they could be a person in a costume, or really getting to that line between being able to tell if it's real or not. And JoJo was just talking about how, as a creator, and especially I think for someone like him who does quite elaborate videos with a lot of sets and a lot of props and production and puts a lot into making things be really realistic and really very much a sensory experience, that it's kind of frightening and frustrating for creators to think that all the effort that they put into videos can just that the same sort of thing can just be done in an instant by an AI and create something that has perfect sound quality and perfect visual quality, and that it's just another area like visual arts, like writing, like so many places where it seems that even though there can be a lot of very practical uses for AI, there seems to be this push right now for AI to be infiltrating creativity in the arts and stepping into that role in the place of humans. And what he was talking about just really struck me, and JoJo kind of ended this video by saying that the hope that he has is that the imperfection of humans in creating ASMR is one of the things that makes it so special. And I was thinking to myself, well, eventually AI will probably start copying all of our imperfections too, and that's, kind of another element to think about. But right now, I think the beauty of individuals and the beauty of things not being perfect is something that I'm just valuing more and more than I ever have. And in my own videos, when I first started out, I used to be critical of myself sometimes because I don't have a lot of slick production value. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just me and my little phone and my little background and my one little light and my blue Yeti, and I don't do elaborate costumes or backgrounds. I don't have perfect lighting and perfect audio and all of that. It's just kind of me, sitting down here with you, And in the beginning, I thought, is that enough? Is that enough? And now I've come to a place where I really love the style of my videos, and I don't really have any desire to make them be more produced or anything like that, because I think there is and there's a value and there is an appeal in this kind of casual sit down together for those of you who are interested in it. This might not be everyone's cup of tea, but for those who are looking for this kind of real human connection, I think I am providing something that has a lot of worth in its own right. And so after watching that video from JoJo, it really inspired me to just come and sit down and do a completely unedited video, which I've done from time to time. Hadn't done one in a while, so this is going to be completely unedited unless there's some really egregious sound from outside or something. But I'm not going to censor or edit my own fumbles or bumbles or anything like that. And I wanted you to see, how I get into place here, and, the fact that it's just me in my room here. It's very casual. And also today I decided not to put on any makeup before I sat down to film for you. I am wearing some sunscreen. It's kind of a tinted moisturizer sunscreen that I wear to protect myself from the sun. And then I have some lip balm on because I don't like my lips to be dry. Some kind of like lip balm, lip gloss stuff. Fun, fruity stuff that I like because it has a nice smell and it tastes nice. And it's very natural. And you may have noticed, or maybe have not noticed because maybe you don't pay attention to such things, that the most recent videos that I've done out on my porch pep talks, I haven't worn makeup in those videos, mostly because I've been filming those early in the morning, and I really want to get the early morning bird song, and I just didn't want to spend any time, I didn't want to waste any time putting on makeup when I could just get right to the video. And also, first thing in the morning, I just don't really feel like putting anything like on my eyes or anything like that, and in the summer, I really don't feel like wearing makeup because, then it gets kind of melty, and if I'm going out and walking foxy and gardening and stuff, it gets melty, and, who wants that? I just like to be, clean and fresh. But I will say that for me, that is a real mark of being more comfortable, being a little bit more vulnerable, and being more my true self, and not having to put on a layer of makeup to try to make myself look different or better, or more polished than I am. And that is not to knock people who like to wear makeup at all. Makeup can be a really cool expression of people's personalities, and I think makeup can be a real art in of itself, and for some people that's something that brings them a lot of joy, to be creative with makeup. And so I admire people who can do beautiful makeup on themselves and others, and like anything, there's nothing, it's a tool, it's something that can be used for many different purposes and with many different reasonings behind it. And a lot of ASMR creators, do quite a get ready routine of their hair and makeup before they sit down and record. And I completely respect that. And if that's part of their personality and part of their creative process, then I think that's awesome. For me, back when I was working full-time and had an office job and had to be presentable and professional all the time, I wore makeup every day. I woke up, first thing in the morning and got ready and put my face on for the day and went out into the world. And during that part of my life, if I wasn't wearing makeup, I felt vulnerable. And if I looked at myself, like if I somehow forgot to wear makeup that day or wasn't able to do it or something, or saw people and didn't have makeup on, I would feel kind of vulnerable and exposed. And if I looked at myself in the mirror when I wasn't wearing makeup, my first thought would always be like, oh, Devin, like you look old, you look tired, you don't look bright, you look kind of dull and bleh without makeup on. When I stopped working, and I think this happened for a lot of people when the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden we were just home a lot more of the time, I think a lot of people relaxed their outward, what they felt like they had to do to themselves to have an outward persona to the world. And so I really, really started wearing makeup a lot less frequently. And I have always pretty much worn makeup when I film because it does give me a little bit of that, at least up until now, it has given me a little bit of that like lights, camera, action kind of feeling. And I do, like that it highlights my features, and I feel like, maybe you can see my eyes a little better, and it does, make me feel pretty and fancy, and I like to do that sometimes. So I have pretty much always worn makeup when I filmed. But what I've come to realize lately, which is super exciting, is that now when I look at myself and I see myself without makeup on, I think, oh, that's me. I look nice. I look pretty. That's my face. I like my features. I like my eyes. I like how I look. And then if I do decide to wear makeup and I look at myself, it's like, ooh, that's extra fancy, extra special, sort of artistic, or me putting on, an extra little something because I want to, because I feel the urge to do that, not because I feel like I have to wear makeup in order to be presentable and in order for people to be able to bear to look at me. I need to be wearing makeup. So I just wanted to throw that out as a first little theme about vulnerability. And I talked about this a little in another series of videos when I was getting my glasses replaced, and I did some videos not wearing my glasses, and I realized that I felt kind of vulnerable without my glasses there, and that led to some discussions in the comments of different people saying that, like, one person said they like to wear hoodies a lot and they feel vulnerable without their hoodie, and one person mentioned like beards and facial hair can be something that a person is used to having, and then if they don't, they feel vulnerable. So I think there's a lot of ways that this manifests. And so today, because it was hot and I didn't feel like putting on makeup and I just wanted to get right to this video and sit down with you, I decided to, kind of embrace that feeling. And, I'm a person, again, we're going to be really vulnerable here. I'm in my mid-40s. I'm in a phase where there are changes happening in me, and my skin is, feeling the effects of that. And so sometimes, I break out, and sometimes I have acne, like, in a way that I haven't had since I was a teenager. And so sometimes when my skin is looking quite imperfect, that makes me not want to record because, I just feel that is something that when I was young made me self-conscious, and then this resurgence of that, makes me a little self-conscious sometimes. So that's another thing that I'm really going to try to let go of, and that's something that Jojo talked about, was the fact that he had acne when he was younger, and that was something that he had to kind of get over and have the confidence to make videos anyway. And so that's something that I admire coming from him. And so that also kind of inspired me today that, like, you know, none of us are like perfect airbrushed models. Like, our human faces are beautiful, whatever kinds of, you know, things that might be called imperfections, you know, that we have. Like, you know, sometimes I have acne scars, I have lines around my eyes, you know, I'm like I said, you know, I'm 46, I'm not super young, and I don't want to look like I'm super young, because I want the fact that I've lived a wonderful and diverse life full of lots of emotions to show on my face. I want you to see that I've made a lot of facial expressions in my life, and that I've smiled and shown surprise and laughed and cried. Like, I wouldn't want to have a fake face that didn't show any of that. So anyway, that's my little dissertation on makeup. That was part of what I felt inspired about to talk about in this video. So now I'll take a sip of tea and gather my thoughts about what else I wanted to talk about. Makeup, AI, being real, the value of being, you know, a flawed, messy, beautiful human being, and how nice it is to see people and interact with people who are real and are not trying to be fake. And I had talked about how, in one of my other videos, I talked about how I am not using the automatic AI generated responses to comments that YouTube is offering me. That if you get a reply to your comment, I myself read your comment, thought about it, and used my hands to type a reply to you, because that is important to me. And if we lose that kind of a connection in this channel and my creativity, then I don't see any point in doing it. So that's important for me to maintain with you. That is really good tea. That is really good tea. And I'm like, see, I'm probably getting lip balm on my glass, and some part of me in the past might have been like, ew, that looks gross, I should like make sure that doesn't show in the video. It's like, whatever, this is real life. Okay, I think I will put my glass down for a little bit there. Maybe give you a little bit of hand sounds with this. And I will probably do many videos that talk about imperfection and vulnerability, because those are two really, really big themes. Really big themes in my life. My own journey to release perfectionism, to embrace my own self-worth as a person, just for who I am intrinsically, beyond what I do or what I produce. That's a big thing for me. I've talked about a lot. I'm a helper and a fixer, and for a lot of my life I have wanted to, at all costs, protect the people that I love and try to control situations and prevent the people that I care about from ever having to feel any pain or ever having to be hurt. And of course, you know, that is not possible for any of us to do. We are all human, and we cannot control the world. We can only do our part to be our true selves and to show love and care to others, but to do that in a way that respects our own capacity. And I am going to do a full video on boundaries, so we'll talk a lot more about that. But sharing love in a way that also is loving towards ourselves, and not in a way that is depleting, and not in a way that completely disregards our own needs. Finding a way to love that embraces care for ourselves as well as for other people is something that I'm always working on. And so the other thing that just is really, really on my heart right now that I wanted to share about is the value of allowing yourself to be vulnerable with other people. And I've talked a lot on this channel and in my Substack blog about receiving and how that's another journey for me, allowing myself to receive people's care and love and not feeling that I have to earn people's love, getting to a point where I feel that I intrinsically am worthy of love and care. And that's why I always like to say those kinds of things in my videos to you, because those are the kinds of things that I need to hear as well. And so sharing them with you helps me as well. And I love that community aspect of these videos, that everything I create is from my heart and also for my own heart as I share with you. And this week, when we had these two wonderful friends and their child come and visit us, one of whom has been Justin's friend since they were both children, so that's a really cool bond to have. And as we were spending time with both of them and having a lot of fun, and we made jam together, we made strawberry jam as a big group, and everyone helped out, and that was something that really made me happy and fed my soul, because I love to do kitchen projects like that. And kind of as a side related note, that's the sort of project in the past that usually I would just take on all on my own, and there was part of me that was like, oh, I had really wanted to make jam and I didn't get that finished before we were having people come, so I guess I just won't get to do that. It didn't really occur to me, oh, well, you could ask your friends who are going to be here to help you with that project. And I did end up mentioning it, and they were all so excited about it, so we worked together and did it, and then split up the fruits of our labor, and they took some home with them, and we shared some in a wonderful breakfast, all of us together, while they were still here. And so that was a little lesson for me in inviting people in, and the value of teamwork and working on things together. And Justin and I do always have a big day together where we make pickles. That will come later in the summer in July, and that's a lot of work, and we enjoy it together. And so we're hoping to coordinate it so that these friends can come back and spend time with us on pickling day, so that once again we can all pitch in together and make that a fun project. And one of the nights when our friends were here, we ended up getting into a conversation about Justin's bipolar diagnosis and his manic episode. And these friends live some distance away from us, so they weren't right here. They weren't right nearby when all of that was happening with Justin a couple of years ago. It's been 2 years and a few months now since all that happened. And so they were asking some questions in a really kind and thoughtful and gentle and curious, but like a tender curiosity, not like a nosy, invasive curiosity, but with a really tender, loving curiosity. We're asking questions about what that experience was like for us and how we felt then and how we feel now. And Justin shared a lot with them about his experience, which I think was really good for Justin to be able to share some of that in a very open way. I'm going to have a little bit more tea. And then it led to me also sharing about a lot of the really hard times that happened during Justin's episode in recovery. And I've talked about those in some of these videos, how In some of my videos here, I'll link to my playlist of videos where I talked about Justin's mental health journey from the very beginning, and I've shared things here and on my Substack blog and quite a few essays I've written about those experiences. So if you are interested in hearing more about that, that's a place where I've been brave in sharing myself. I always have a link to my Substack blog in the description, so you can always go and explore there if you would like to. And I ended up sharing with these wonderful, supportive friends a lot of experiences that I had had, and some of these were things I hadn't talked about in a while, and some of the times that were really scary, and times when I felt really alone and really lonely and really helpless, when Justin was struggling in mania and I couldn't connect with him, and I had support around me in many ways, but still sometimes I felt very much on my own in those times. And so it was really good for me to share all of that, and I got really emotional and I cried. And, Justin was there with me, and Justin and these two friends really held space for me to share about those things. They held space for me emotionally, and they held me physically. Like, they gave me this big, wonderful group hug, and physically hugged me and held me, and held my hands and gave me that tactile, physical support that I just think sometimes we don't give each other enough as humans. I think that sometimes, touch has gotten to a point where there's so many other things attached to it, and it can have stigma around it, or touch can only be interpreted or thought of in these really narrow ways, that touch can only mean certain things, and that just the idea of supportive, loving touch and tangible support between people is something that we just don't always get enough of in our lives. I feel very fortunate that I come from a family culture and a culture where hugging is very acceptable, and I've always grown up throughout my life getting a lot of really nice hugs, and that's something that I really value, and I know that not everybody has that experience, and that's one of the reasons that I talk in my videos a lot about embodiment and giving ourselves, this kind of touch, and this is something I do a lot for myself. Giving myself the soothing, havening touch, it's sometimes called, of rubbing my arms to soothe myself, or rubbing my hands together, or touching my face, or, shaking myself out to get rid of heavy emotions, all these things, putting my feet solidly on the ground to feel grounded, moving my energy back and down in my body to feel that soothingness. There are so many things we can do for ourselves to provide that support. And when we're able to have the opportunity to have that support from other people, that can be a really, really healing and really moving thing. And I thought what was most significant about this, one of the significant things that I wanted to share with all of you, was that I could feel in my body how much resistance I had to letting my feelings go and letting in this love and care that was being freely given to me from Justin and from our friends, that was being given to both Justin and me. And I could feel these layers of armor and protection in my body. And, as I was being given this support, I could literally hear voices in my head that wanted to say to me, you don't deserve this, Devin. You haven't earned this. What right do you have? Have you been a good enough friend to these people to have earned their love and respect for you in this way? those voices of you're not good enough, you don't deserve this, or it's not safe to accept this, only you can protect yourself. You have to keep yourself safe. You have to keep yourself armored and protected. You have to be strong. It's not okay to let this stuff out and let other people see it, because it might be too much, or they might not be able to handle it, and it might scare them away. And that's something that I have had experiences with in my life, of interacting with people for whom my emotions were too much. People who couldn't handle me being my full expressive self. And that was one of the things that these friends kept expressing to me and saying out loud, like, this is okay, Devin. This is not too much. Your emotions are not too much. You have every right to feel all of these things. These things are normal and natural, and it's okay for you to express them, and it's okay for you to have felt these things and to continue to feel these things, and it's okay to let support in from other people. You don't have to do it all on your own. And so I feel really changed, honestly, after that experience. And I mean, it's not that I, didn't have friends helping me along the way. I definitely did. I actually had another experience that was similar to this early on when Justin was still in the hospital, when Justin had only been in the hospital a few days, and two other really good friends, not these same friends, two other people came over to my house and brought me food. They had cooked all this food for me, and they sat and they listened to me talk about everything that had happened with Justin, and they hugged me and held me and helped me to feel some stability during that time. And my family has given me a lot of that love. I've gotten a lot of wonderful hugs from my mom and my sister and other members of my family, my dad, and I'm just really thankful that I have that element in my life. And so this whole experience just makes me really want to embrace that even more. And it comes back to this whole beauty of being human, that we have something we can share with each other as humans that cannot be replicated. It cannot be replicated. There is a way that we can love each other and support each other that is so valuable and so strong and so needed. And I just want to continue through my channel and through my interactions with people in real life and in everything I do to both try to give that connection and that care and that permission to be vulnerable to other people, and also to keep doing the work myself to allow that vulnerability to shine, and to know that everything about me that is imperfect or is messy or doesn't fit into some perfect mold of what I think a together person is supposed to look like, all of those things are so beautiful. I am a beautiful person. It takes a lot for me to say that, friends. I have a beautiful soul, and you have a beautiful soul. You have a beautiful soul. You are a beautiful person, and I don't care what other people have said to you in your life, or what experiences you have had that have made you think that you are not a beautiful person. And I understand those voices are everywhere, and they are so hard to let go of. But I am telling you right now that you are a beautiful person, and I see that, and I feel your energy, and I believe that. And even though I can't be there with you in person right in this moment to give you that tangible support, my heart is very full, and my intention is very strong to share love and to share acceptance with the world. And my hope is always to give whoever is listening to this some little tiny slice of understanding, of knowing that you are understood, that you are seen, that you are not alone in your human experience, and that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through is normal and okay. Whatever you are feeling is okay, and you don't have to feel ashamed, and you don't have to feel bad about who you are, that there is a beautiful, intrinsic human worthiness inside you that deserves to be nurtured and cultivated and deserves to shine forth from your amazing being. And so, I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I always say I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I am none of those things. I am just another human who is on the same journey that you are on. And we're all at different places and we all have different experiences. But being human and being who we are is such a gift that each one of us can give to the world. And so today I just really wanted to celebrate imperfection. I wanted to celebrate messing up and making mistakes and having things, not turn out the way we wanted, and having things maybe look messy or weird, or, having things not go according to plan, and how beautiful that can be. Sometimes, yes, it's frustrating, and those feelings are legitimate too, but that there is just this intrinsic awe and joy and delight in just being. And that was one of the things one of my friends said to me, that I've heard before, but it really came home to me, that we are human beings. We are not human doings. We are not human accomplishings. We are not human earnings. We are human beings. That being is what we were created to do. We were created in love, and we were created to be. And whatever that being, however that manifests, whatever that means for you, however you choose to be, that is valuable and that is beautiful. And I always say in these videos that you are lovable and valuable and irreplaceable. And I feel that that is a theme that we all need to hear more often. You are lovable just the way you are. You are valuable just in the way that you exist and move about in the world each day. You bring value and beauty to this world, and you are irreplaceable. There is no one else in this world who is exactly like you, and you bring a unique and beautiful perspective and unique and beautiful contributions and creations to this world just by existing, just by being you. It's not about accomplishing anything or producing anything. It's just about your energy and your spirit existing. That is enough, and you are enough, and I care about you, and I believe in you. So, I still have a little tea left. I think that is everything I wanted to talk about today. I think, as you can feel, this one is another one that's really coming straight from my heart. And I'm just very grateful to be able to have a space like this where we can share. I hope that you will share any thoughts or experiences that you want to share in the comments, or you can always send me an email. I have an email address for my channel that's always in the description if you ever want to send me an email, not in a comment. I'm always happy to hear from you, and I'm just really grateful for you. And I want you to know that all of you give me a wonderful gift in my life by being there to listen to my words, by allowing me to give to you, by being there to receive, and by being part of this beautiful interaction and connection that we have that makes me feel valuable, that makes me feel delight and joy and happiness, and makes me feel creative and beautiful and very abundant. So I thank you for that, and I thank you for being here with me. So, there will be some more fun ASMR coming at you soon. Things to help you relax and help you feel better, hopefully. And then some more conversations like this, where we can just have some heart-to-heart time and allow the space for those important things that only we as humans can take the time for. I think taking the time to prioritize these kinds of conversations is really important and is a form of activism and a form of making a difference that we can all choose, is that we can choose to have some space for vulnerability in our lives. And I think that's really important. So, I'll have one last sip of tea here. Yeah, I'm really happy just to be here with you. So, take good care of yourself. Rest well. Oh, see, I just made a weird throat noise, but we're not going to edit that out. We've come this far. It's okay to make human sounds with my body because, I have a human body. That's okay. And I will see you. Did I say take good care of yourself already? I think I did. Just in case. Take good care of yourself. Rest well. And I will see you again soon. Okay, so we're going with the unedited vibe. I almost forgot her. Oh, I should take a thumbnail. Always forget to do that if I'm doing unedited. Okay, I think I'll just, my tea glass is kind of empty now, so, oh well. Do a little. Probably should have done that at the beginning so that my tea glass had some tea in it, but that's okay. Figure out something. And maybe I think I liked it with the tea. We'll leave it with the tea. And so now I'm going to take out my earbuds. And I'm going to just stand up from here and go around and turn off my camera. And you'll be able to see my dress when I stand up. I really, really like this dress. When it gets to be hot weather, I have this collection of dresses that are like really soft material, mostly ones I've bought at like consignment stores and secondhand places that I think of as house dresses, because when I was growing up, my grandma and a lot of women I knew would have these like light dresses that they would wear in the summer that they called house dresses, and I love that. I just kind of love that vibe and that feel. So this is one of my house dresses. So I hope you will stay cool if it's hot where you are, and I'll see you in the next video. So I'm going to try not to whack myself against the desk. Oh, I did a little bit here. And I'll come around here and turn things off. Bye bye, friends.